A Better Route Chapter 66. Naruto sat there meditating at Falls of Truth, but he really didn't feel like anything had happened. He just kept waiting for something big, some kind of major shift or something. Finally he turned to his friends, "Hey guys, are you?" Thing was, Fu and Gaara weren't next to him anymore and Killer Bee wasn't there either. Naruto looked around for someone other than himself, but he couldn't see anyone. Finally he heard a voice in the distance, "I can't believe you're even trying this." Naruto looked around to try and see who had said it, and finally he saw something amazing. There was someone who looked just like him walking up to Naruto. The only difference was that his eyes were black and his teeth seemed sharper. He began to speak again, "Do you really think that we can change anything? That there's some kind of purpose behind all of this fighting you're doing?" Naruto couldn't believe that these emotions were even inside of him. "What are you talking about?" "Of course we can change things." The darker Naruto rolled his eyes, "which is why Ino is dead and Kakashi ran off. Honestly, how stupid can you be? I could stand here in front of you for hours just naming off examples of things wrong with this world." Naruto started to grind his teeth. "What the hell are you?" The figure chuckled darkly and walked up to him. "You know who I am. I'm your dark self, you greatest fear. It just so happens that what create me is that doubt in the back of your mind. That doubt you've had for as long as you can remember. It may be small and you may have shoved it back, but it's there. You're scared that you'll never be able to save this world, or even worse, you may end up being the one to destroy it. You've been scared since we started this training, scared that you won't be able to control the power, all that you'll end up hurting your friends. It's pathetic, really." Naruto went to swing at him in rage, but his darker self simply avoided the hit. "I'm done talking for now. I'll be sure to see you soon though." Naruto didn't want him to leave, so grabbed his shoulder and turned him. His darker self gave him a dark smile and made a swing at him. Just barely ducking it, Naruto went to punch his darker self in gut, but his hand was caught and he was thrown over his darker self's head. He expected to feel himself hitting the ground, but he never did. Naruto's eyes shot open for real this time and he saw that his friends were still in their trances. He hoped they were having better luck than he did. The longer Gaara sat there, the more he could swear he felt heat of the desert on his skin. That was of course impossible, but then again everything did seem kind of strange. Before long he became unable to feel his friend's presence and he heard a small voice coming from behind him. "How can you trust them?" Gaara opened his eyes and turned around to see what looked like a 3-year-old him. He didn't understand it at all. Was this supposed to be his darker self? The little boy spoke again. "They're going to betray us, you know that, don't you?" Gaara wasn't sure if he should talk to him like he would a 3-year-old or an adult. "They're not going to betray us, they saved us. If it wasn't for them, who knows what could have become of us." The small boy got a dark look in his eyes. "The only person in this world you can trust is Mama, and you abandoned her. She's gives you love, you give her blood, that's the deal." It chilled Gaara to those words come from such a small child. He remembered before the seal was fixed a voice that would whisper to him, a voice claiming to his mother, "I don't need her. I've got plenty of friends who care about me." No. Sand began to rage around the small child and it started to walk towards Gaara. "She protected you from the villagers and all you did was seal her away. Don't ignore Mama." Gaara covered his eyes. He felt it was time to stop talking and start fighting. Charging at the younger boy, Gaara went to raise his hands to send his own sand at his darker self. Much to his confusion, no sand reacted to him like it usually did. Instead, the younger Gaara's sand crashed into the older one's, sending him flying. He waited for the hard impact, but it never came. Gaara woke up and started to pant heavily. Naruto turned to him. "You too, huh?" Gaara nodded and looked to see that Fu was the last one remaining. They didn't envy her at the moment. Fu was really starting to get annoyed by this. She was getting really bored with this and wanted something to happen already. When she started this, she was expecting something big, but all she'd gotten so far was silence. The silence was finally broken by someone who appeared in front of her. "What a sad little girl you are." When Fu opened her eyes, she saw what looked like a slightly older version of herself laying in the water. She asked her, "What you mean I'm a sad little girl? I'm you for Pete's sake." The woman chuckled, "True, so I guess we're both sad. We had to get away from our own village just to find some friends, and even then we had to choose the village freak for our boyfriend." Fu shot back, "Shino is not a freak. What the hell is wrong with you?" The woman just kept chuckling, "Honestly, it's kind of ridiculous how easy you're making this on me. I'd be willing to bet the other darker self are having a much harder time aggravating their counterparts." Fu was really starting to get mad. "Shut up." She didn't, "I mean really, all I've gotta do is tell you the truth. The truth about how sad your life is. About how you'll never be able to be normal or have that normal life you've always wanted." Fu started to run off the patch of ground and dove at the woman, "Shut up you bitch." When Fu thought she was going to hit water, she actually didn't hit anything at all. She woke up to find that the others were awake as well. They all looked at each other with sympathy. This wasn't going too easy. All of them felt awful right now, and B was starting to walk over to talk to them. "Come on yo, it's time to go. I wanna hear all about what happened in your minds, fools." Kakashi followed his grandmother to this mysterious surprise she had for him. She told him about it right after he'd woken up from the DNA transfer, and apparently she said how he handled his surprise would be important. Opening a door to a dimly lit room, Kakashi looked inside to find two men chained to a wall. Tuhiya, I'm calling her Tuhiya when she's with Kakashi, and Tori when she's with people who don't know, asked him, "Do you know who these people are?" Kakashi shook his head and Tuhiya pointed to the sound symbol on their clothing. "These are other two men who killed Ino. We tracked them down and are leaving their fate for you to decide it." Kakashi found himself angry with his grandmother for the first time since he'd gotten here. What do you think Kakashi is, some kind of idiot? Killing these two won't bring him any peace, and it won't bring Ino-chan back. Kakashi doesn't care what happens to them, he's got bigger things to worry about. Kakashi was about to leave, but apparently what he'd said angered the sound ninjas. "Bigger things to worry about? I killed your girlfriend for fuck's sake. She begged, you know. How pathetic are you?" What Kakashi did next none of them expected. He laughed. "Wow, are you really the one calling Kakashi pathetic? Honestly, you think saying that Ino begged is gonna change his mind?" Kakashi's run what happened to her over in his head a dozen times now, and not once has he given any thought to you. You're such a pathetic person that you need to rap someone just to get some action and then practically beg her old boyfriend to kill you. You really aren't even worth the energy it would take to kill you. Do whatever the hell you want with them. Feed M to Zetsu for all Kakashi cares. Tuhiya never expect quite that response, but it was still a good one. He wasn't some crazed maniac out for revenge, he was just a boy seeking peace. Even she couldn't claim she hadn't desired revenge at one point. Just look what she did to the Uchiha clan. They left the room, and before long Zetsu went in with hunger in his eyes. "Well, he did say that we could." Sasuke woke up one morning they were set to leave with a determined look on his face. He knew that this wasn't going to be an easy trip, but he wasn't going to back down. No matter where his cousin was right now, Sasuke would find him. After jumping out of bed and grabbing a shower, Sasuke ran down to the living room to say goodbye to everyone. He'd said goodbye to most of the Rookie 12 yesterday, and only Mito and Kiba were there today. Kiba was only there because his sister Hana had come to say goodbye to Itachi. Tsum was over whispering in Itachi's ear, "I smelled something different about Hana last night. Itachi started to sweat a little bit. What would that be? Some rolled her eyes. Don't play dumb, you know what I smelled. If you hurt her, I'll castrate you like we do at the vet's office. Got it? Itachi nodded vigorously while Mito gave Sasuke a hug goodbye and Kiba shook his hand. Obito was holding his wife close to him. Don't worry Rin-chan, we'll find him. Rin gave him a small kiss. I know you will, sweetie. A girl with red hair was standing in the corner and Sasuke asked Obito, who's that girl over there? Obito looked as though he just remembered something. Oh yeah, she's actually gonna be staying with Rin-chan for a little while. With Naruto and Fu over in the hidden cloud, we've got a little more room and she needs a place to stay. Her name's Karen, she's actually the one who helped us identify the seal on Kakashi. Sasuke couldn't help but notice the girl was kind of cute. He walked over to her and said, "Hey, I'm Sasuke." Karen looked him with big eyes. Yeah, I know. Look, I'm really sorry about everything Orochimaru did. Sasuke cut her off. If it wasn't for you my cousin might be dead right now, you've got nothing to apologize for. Karen looked down, maybe, but the hidden sound still ended up causing him to run away in the end. Sasuke had to admit that was true, but you aren't with the hidden sound anymore. Besides, we're gonna find him. Karen couldn't believe how warm everyone's chakra in this room was. She was a sensor type and it seemed like everyone back in the hidden sound's chakra was freezing compared to these guys. It was amazing to her really. Shortly after that, the three of them set out to find Kakashi. None of them knew how long they'd be gone, but they knew they weren't giving up until they found Kakashi. Killer Bee nodded as he listened to the kids tell him about their experiences. It sounded pretty similar to his experience and to what Yujito had told him about hers. This was first big chance as sensei. It was time to give these kids a little advice. Sometimes you find when you can't win by fighting hard, you need to take another look at your cards. Not everything needs to be solved with your fists, if you get my gist. B could see they were lost, so he decided to simplify it for them. You can't fight your doubts, but you can learn to live with them. Naruto wanted to bang his head on a wall, but they don't want to even talk to us. How are we supposed to get them to listen to us? Killer Bee laughed. Sorry bro, but I can't tell you that one. You'll have to figure it out for yourself. All of them wanted to kill their sensei when they gave them that answer. This was going to take a while. That is all for this video. See you next time.